sends shivers down your spine, doesn't it? What a voice. Gosh. I know we're going to be talking about stuff that's going on in a little while, but I just want to mention that next weekend's the picnic, okay? And so we're going to be at Columbia Park. Columbia Point, thank you very much, right next to the marina like we were last year, because it's such a perfect place. We'll have grandfather drum, bring your drums, we'll all have fun. Talk to Valerie if you want to bring something just to kind of coordinate stuff. Valerie and Joe are going to cook for us this year. Going to get massive quantities of pulled pork and pulled chicken. Cool. So bring your appetite. If you forget to bring something, come anyway. Please. And everybody out there on YouTube too, if you're in the area, and I know we have a lot of subscribers locally that have never been to the church, come to Columbia Point next Sunday at about 12 o'clock and have lunch with us. So, how cool is that? We're past 1,000 views? Cool. Wonderful. Hey! You know, all we have is volunteers at this church. Isn't that amazing that we could actually do all this? You know, Jan and I are volunteers. Everything here is because of you folks. So thank you so much. Hey, Jan, what do you got to say today?
God only knows.
It's always good to be the first.
Okay. Good morning. It's my birthday. So you know what I want for my birthday? World peace. We can work on that. We're going to work on that later. Actually, how can I say this? Let me say this differently. When I was growing up, I grew up in a household where you didn't get a whole lot of attagirls or attaboys. You just did what you were told, got good grades, and then you didn't get yelled at. Not being yelled at was a good thing, or worse. So, you may have experienced the same thing. The good news with that is that now I don't need approval. How cool is that? Went through a whole lot of my life where I thought I did. I don't need that. What I would like to see for my birthday, however, is I would like to hear from you. I would like you, if you're willing, to come up one at a time, stand here, and tell the viewers, what the Divine Fellowship has meant for you. Because that's what it's really all about. You know, other ministers stand at the back of the church and expect you to say, good message, Pastor so-and-so. I don't care. What really turns my crank is when I hear somebody say, you know, what I got out of your last guided meditation was, that ramps me up. That's what I love. So if there's something about the Divine Fellowship, about your process here, that has really been a blessing to you, would you share that? That would be awesome. That would be awesome. So I think we have a microphone. Who wants to? Tracy.
Go for it, girl. She wasn't even done talking and I was ready. What the Divine Fellowship has meant to me is loving, accepting growth.
Because, fill it in.
Oh, because. Because, well, as many of us probably have experienced in our past, a traditional religious upbringing, call it whatever religion you want to, is, from my perspective, really not about acceptance. It's more about being told, this is how you have to believe, this is how you have to be, this is the way, you know, expectations, do, be. And in the Divine Fellowship, as soon as you walk in the door, you are loved exactly where you are, regardless of where that is. And you feel it. And I have felt it every day that I've attended in the last, 3 years, I think. And it's an amazingly comforting place to come from and know that when you're here, you're home. And we all love everybody that walks through the door just because they exist. And that's pretty powerful. How was that?
Awesome. Okay. Who's next? Who's next?
Next!
Nancy.
Come on up. You get to come up and join me, and I'm going to go sit down.
Yes, yes. Those of you that know anything about my past, church was not a place I enjoyed going to. And I felt it was kind of, I don't know, prejudicial against women in general. I didn't like the status of women, according to the Bible and that sort of thing. But due to May and my having been laid off for a year and a half, I had no excuse not to go to church. And any of you that know May know that she's very persuasive. And if you see that eyebrow goes up, you do whatever she says. And so, hence, I've been going to church. The first few times was not because I really wanted to, but she had been telling me about the type of songs that you guys sing or that we sing and all that kind of stuff. And I go, well, what kind of church does that? And so I finally came to this church. Well, one of the other things that I was taught about was manifestation. And like I said, I was laid off for a year and a half. So after about 6 months or so of coming to church, maybe a little bit longer, between Janice and May, they said, well, why don't you manifest going back to work? And so what I did is I got an old paycheck stub of mine, and I put it in an envelope, and I put on there that I would like to get my job back or get the same type of job with that amount of pay and get all my benefits back. And I would like this to happen by May 1st. And this was 2007, because I was off for a year and a half. I went out in 2005 and came back in 2007. Well, lo and behold, one of my former, she was a manager, she called me and said, hey, I'm opening up this job, I want you to apply. So I did. And long story short is I started back to work on May 7th. So it was pretty, and not only that, I got exactly my same job back, a 6% raise, because that's what they figured everybody got while the time I was off, and I got all my benefits back. So manifesting does work. I'm a prime example of that. And ever since I came back to work and had her as my manager to start with, and then the other managers I've had since then, I actually enjoy going to work. Now, technically speaking, I have 103 days left until I can officially retire. And that's when I turn 62. However, because I do like my job, I will be staying there for as long as they'll have me, as well as they don't screw around with what I'm doing. So if they try and put me in management again, forget it, man. There's no way, But I really enjoy what I'm doing. I'm doing a good job at it. They like what I'm doing, and therefore I plan on staying as long as I possibly can. There's another side to that, is May wants too much stuff done at the house. Yeah. So we just put in wood floors and new tile in our entryway. We just bought a new table set for the dining room that has new floors. Next, of course, is going to be kitchens and bathrooms and stuff. And that gets a little expensive. It's a little bit easier to pay with when you're working than it is when you're retired on a fixed income. But I also got my income, or my pension thing from work, and that even looks good, which I couldn't believe. So, and plus I'm grandfathered with all the new things that are happening with the benefits for out at Hanford. So I'm grandfathered there, so I don't lose a lot of things that some of the other people that haven't been there as long as I have. And we're talking 37 years now. So it'll be, by the time I retire, I'll be 40 years probably.
Wow.
Unless, as long as I'm physically able to do it, I'm going to continue doing it. So, but that's all the result of being able to believe in myself again, as well as, with the help of everybody around here. And that's, the only thing that could have done that was the church, because May herself couldn't. She tried, but she couldn't. So I want to thank everybody here, especially Janice and Phil, for starting this church, and I'm now a believer again. So, thank you.
Yay! Who's next?
Hi, I'm Susan, for those of you who don't know me. Hi, Bert. My name's Susan. And what does church... What this church has meant to me is it's the first place I've been able to reconcile my very strong Christian beliefs with my other beliefs, in reincarnation and past lives and manifestation and all those other things. And I believe I have the ability to talk to God. There was no other place I could go and get that kind of schooling. And I very, very much appreciate the church for doing that. It's been a wonderful home, and I believe love abides here.
Awesome. Anybody else?
I'm done. Who's next? Okay.
Come on up. Or come on down, as the case may be.
Like, without falling down. One of the first Sundays that I came here, she had these balloons that she's put these affirmations and guidance, whatever I didn't know what to call them. And they were, of course, helium, and you just had a balloon, and she just put all these balloons up, and your balloon was there. And you could just go get it. And here we all were running around saying, is this my balloon? Or is this my balloon? Or is this my balloon? And everybody should you go around and ask people, does this apply to you? Was this effective for you? Absolutely, right on. And I thought, we left there, and I said, I think maybe it was the first or second Sunday. This is like recess with God. And it hasn't changed. And we're working on our 5th year here. And I am just so grateful. I look out on all of these beautiful, wonderful faces and seeing you as the love that you are, and trusting that I'm exactly where I need to be, doing exactly what I need to do, and so are you. And Janice and Phil enforce that. All of you enforce that with me. One of the things that I really appreciate was connecting to my spirit and trusting that. Recognizing the voice, recognizing the vibration, recognizing that it's solid spirit guidance that I can trust. And she gives us opportunity for that every Sunday, every time that we're together. And I have appreciated that so much. And I appreciate all of you for supporting me in that journey, because this is the most supportive place I've ever been in my entire life. Thank you. Bless you.
Anybody else?
Wow, not talking in front of people is something completely new to me, and was never comfortable doing in my life. And one of the first, within the first year, I was asked to do the baskets, and that's how we keep the church going. And that's one of the biggest things I think that has helped me. Now I'm in a position where at work I have to speak in front of people every day, and I think it's gotten easier. I'm not sure. But I think the biggest thing that the church has given me is the fact that I don't feel like I'm going crazy all the time. I get messages. Anybody else get messages here? Thank you. Okay. So learning that those messages aren't the voices, And I'm so thankful for Janice. Learning palmistry is one of the greatest gifts that I've ever experienced, because I finally get the chance to help other people, And the encouragement here is amazing, going back to school, doing all the things that I wanted to do and not running away again, finally feeling like I'm actually home. Even growing up here, moving away, coming back and realizing I'm still home, and that's okay, And I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
Got 2 coming.
For a really long time, my family and we tried to find a church.
How old are you?
I am 15. I'm Hope. Hi.
Hi, Hope.
For an extremely long time, me and my family tried to find a church. Don't laugh at me.
Keep going.
And we could never find one where we fit in. We're different from everybody else. And we came here one day, and it was like my family. Like, we came in here, and he's up here, and he's telling jokes, and I walk in, and 3 different people I've never met before say hi and give me a hug, and I'm like, I love you guys. I'm here to stay.
Awesome.
And I thank you guys.
Patrick. How fun is this?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Patrick.
Sounds like an AA meeting.
I apologize for not getting to know each and every one of you personally and more in depth. It's kind of like my high school reunion when I went back, and I go back every time they have one, get ready to go back next year, hopefully. And I realized that I really didn't get to know a lot of the people that I grew up with. And I regret that. You know, we're kind of limited by time and space and other things that we can't really do that. But anyway, I've thought many times about why I go to this church and why I go to any church. I was raised in a traditional religion, a small Methodist church, and there was some joy in that. There were good people there, and so that was probably a good embryo for me to start my spiritual journey on this earth. But as I got older, that became kind of boring to me. It didn't stretch me. It didn't, you know, you kept hearing the same gospel or the same message over and over and over. And I said, well, you know, I've already studied about Abraham. How many times do we have to do this? I mean, but I do know the Bible really well because of that, and I appreciate that. But as I said, I've thought about many times about why this church is kind of special, and someone that's, all of you actually have got up and spoke before me, have talked about things that I've thought about too. One of the things I like about this church is the interactive type of experience that you have. For example, before I even came into the service here, I went through two very important experiences, namely Qigong and the oneness blessing that only this type of church offers. Those are great blessings. And to have people like Sandra and William there to bring their talents about the oneness blessing in here, if you're not doing those things, you're missing out, I think, on some very important aspects of this church. There's lots of other stuff too. I know we see this John Van Alken's going to be presenting another seminar here in the next 3 weeks. That's really what got me started here. I saw something in the paper about Edgar Casey. I don't know if you know anything about Edgar Casey. He's called the American Prophet. He has a headquarters back in Norfolk, Virginia, and of course that's still ongoing. John Van Alken continues that tradition, and those things are things that I like. I think there's something beyond some of this mere traditional type of traditional exercise of religion that I see. In fact, I'm surprised anybody goes to some of those churches, to tell the truth. I mean, once you try something other than vanilla, you know. I don't know if you know it or not, but if you become a young member of a major law firm in a major city, one of the first things they tell you to do is what church to go to. Now, are they after your spiritual enhancement? I don't think so. No. They want you to go down there and rub shoulders with some of these high-priced Bechtel corporate guys that could possibly bring some big money to the law firm. That's what it's all about. Isn't that a sad reason to go to church now? You know, that's hypocrisy if I ever heard of it. So I go to this small little church in this small little building. I'm not trying to impress anybody. At my age, you don't care about impressing anybody anymore, you know? I already am somebody, as Janice reinforces us every week. And so anyway, there's many other reasons, but I won't hog the microphone here, so we'll pass it along to the next person.
So Sandra and I were over in Coeur d'Alene and involved in the church over there and doing mind shifters, which we do here, and we had to. It was really supportive to the extent that how much money we could bring in. That was pretty much what it was based on. So we got that figured out. We just tithed through the meetings we were going to, and so it made money. And then it came time to move, and we came over here and said, well, before I left, I said, but God, I've got all these people who love me and who care, and I'm doing good work, and it's really working here. So when I get over there, what's going to happen? And he just kind of smiled and said, you think all this work I've been doing on you is going to go to waste? So we came over here, and the door just opened up, and we have been supported here in ways I've never even imagined. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be here with all of you and open to the possibilities that this church, it's truly limitless. Thank you all.
I just want to say that I appreciate Janice so much. After 15 years, every week that I come, you never know what's going to come out of her mouth. It's always been 15 years different, something new to learn for me. I especially love all of you. You're such a diversified group and so many fabulous ideas for me to learn about. So, and my favorite part is, of course, the leaning towards Native American path. I really appreciate that, and I love the drumming. And I love you, and I love Phil. Anybody?
My name's Kelly. Like a lot of people, I was raised very strictly religious. My trouble was Roman Catholic. And about when I was 19 years old, I left the church, and I spent a long time trying to find myself and trying to find a home. And then a couple years ago, I had a very strong urge to get a reading with Janice. And after that reading, I remember coming here and going, "You have a church?" And she said, "Yeah, you should probably come." And I was actually too afraid to come that next Sunday. And then the Sunday after that, I came, and it was drumming Sunday. And with every time we hit the drum, it sounded like, "You're home, you're home, you're home." And I had never realized how lonely I was spiritually until I came here. And now I'm not. I'm home, and you're my family.
And how wonderful is that? How wonderful is that? Everyone has a unique and different experience of their experience here at the Divine Fellowship. So it seems like there's something more I need to say about that. Hold on. Oh, okay. So here's the deal. Lori Miller's not here to speak for herself, so I'll share what she said for me. To me, she said she came to church, and for the first 4 Sundays, she sat like this, waiting to hear what we were going to tell her what to believe, to see if she could believe it or not. After about 4 weeks, she said, "Well, they're not going to tell me what to believe. I guess I'm okay." So that's kind of cool. So we don't care what you believe, we care that you believe. Because having that spiritual basis is profound. It guides us and supports us through every trauma and turmoil in our life. And I don't know about you, but life can be really challenging. Am I the only one that's facing drama in their world right now? Do you know what I mean by drama? I see a lot of people shaking their heads. I was like, oh my goodness. And drama is invasive, and it sucks the spiritual life right out of you. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I did a message not too long ago about, Phil and I did a message on zombies, spiritual zombies. And they're out there, and they will suck your energy right out, suck the brains right out of you, because you can't think. When you got all that drama going on, your brain shuts down. And what's really sad is the heart shuts down. Because the heart has its own wisdom. The body has its own wisdom. The spirit has its own wisdom. The mind has its own wisdom. And together, they work to bring us love and joy and light in our lives. And when one shuts down, it's cascading effect. And pretty soon we're also zombies. And we're just trudging through life, living apathetically without that, oh my gosh, here's something I get to get up for. Here's something that makes life worth living. So here's the deal. I want to give you a key today. I want to give you a key to overcoming the drama. Would that be a good thing? Simple. I do simple. If it ain't simple, I ain't doing it. It ain't fun, it ain't simple, we ain't doing it. It ain't simple, it ain't fun. It's probably not right for you. Now, this is not to say we don't have work. Spiritual work can be hard. It can be challenging. I would far rather throw a hissy fit, hurl myself onto the floor, kick and scream. It's harder to not do that. It takes spiritual maturity. It takes energy to not do that. But in the long run, I would hurt myself. I'd make a fool of myself. I wouldn't like that. I would regret that outburst. It wouldn't serve anybody. It would take everybody else's energy out of the room. So the effort has value. There are certain things that have value. If you put effort in and you make cookies, you have cookies when you're done. That has value. When we do spiritual work, we have spiritual maturity that grants us the manifesting, grants us the power to do what we need to do. It has value. So it's worth the effort. So here's how to overcome drama. Romans 12, 17, and 18. Never pay back evil to anyone. Darn it, all the heck. Really? Respect what is right in the sight of all men. If possible, so as far as it depends upon you, be at peace with all men. So here's the key. Sometimes peace eludes you, but you can be at peace with yourself. When you respect what is right, when you do the right thing, then you have this spiritual foundation that helps you move through other people's drama. You become impervious to their energy. It's funny when people use drama, isn't it? Because it pulls on your heartstrings. Oh, I should help them. Please help me. Or it makes us indignant. Oh, how dare they treat that person that way? And all of those things fire us up. But it's a firing up that is non-sustainable. So it's like you can get torqued off about something, and you have lots of energy for a while. Great to clean your house if that's what you want. But when you're done being irritated about something, then either you have to find something new to be irritated about, or you're drained. Because it takes from your core, it takes from your spirit to withhold that or to express that energy. So it takes power, spiritual power, to find that place of peace when somebody else is doing their thing. Because here's the deal. Sometimes we are the emissary of light. That we are in just the right place at just the right time to help somebody else see they might want to make a new choice. We can't make that choice for them. We can't tell them what to do. Oh, well, we can, but how many people do what other people tell them to do? Not me. I don't do that. That's the last thing I'm going to do. But if we can hold sacred ground, if we can be at peace, even when people are freaking out about something, then that grants us peace and gives them the opportunity to shift. Because it's all about ascending. It's all about uplifting one another. And if we drag ourselves into the muck, we're just going to get mucky. Who needs that? So it's far better to stay above that, not aloof. Oh, I'm better than that. You know, seeing drama hurts. It's painful. It's painful to watch someone else mess their lives up. It's really painful, although they're probably not really messing their lives up. It's just my judgment of it, right? But it's hard to see people suffer when if they just do it my way, they'd be so much happier. I'm not sure about that one. So if I can step out of that and be in a place where, oh, I see you're really upset, and allow them to move through that at their own pace, then we're accepting and we're loving and we're being the peace that we want. And it's hard work. And we cry. And it's sad. But it's powerful. Because only when we can be in that sacred ground that other people have an opportunity to shift. Because as long as we feed into that loop, we're playing the same game. And nobody changes. But if we can break the pattern and say, look at that, that's interesting. I don't need to play into that now. I can love and appreciate that person, even if it's a family member and I'm close to them and I get to see them all the time and I see them messing their energies up. They get to. And I get to be at peace about that because I'm going to respect the fact that they get to. I had a bad week last week. I don't know if it was just my birthday thing. You know, I mean, birthdays are big. And when you get over 60, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I kind of was a little in a not good place. Phil just let me be in a not good place. He held sacred ground. He loved me no matter what. And I could shift when I was ready or when I found the tool that helped me shift. Some people shift when they sing music or listen to music. Some people shift when they read sacred scriptures, whether it's the Bible or some other sacred scripture, sacred writings. Some people shift when they chat with a friend. Some people feel uplifted and can shift when they walk with their dog out in nature. Whatever works for you is what works for you. The key is finding what works for you and implementing it, because it's so much easier just to pout. Isn't it? And sometimes we just need to pout and flail our arms around a little bit. But it's how long do we do that? You know, instead of taking a year to get over something, I can do it in, maybe a week. And someday, when I'm really spiritually mature, maybe I can get it done in an hour. I'll keep you posted on that one. But to be able to be in a place where I can be at peace in as much as it's possible for me. And I can respect that other person. I can respect you enough to let you be where you are. I don't need to fix you. That's your job. That's God's job. That's Spirit's job. Higher power, whatever you want to call that. Whatever that works for you. My job is to hold sacred ground. Well, what does sacred ground look like? Sacred ground looks peaceful. Wherever you are, that's sacred ground. When you step out of sacred ground and try to step into somebody else's life and fix it, we're no longer in sacred ground. We've lost sacred ground and we've lost peace. Peace is hard to attain sometimes and hard to hang on to sometimes, but very, very worth it. Because when I can be at peace, then my brain starts functioning again. I don't go into that primal brain. and the primal brain is all fight or flight, and stupid happens when you're in fight or flight. My heart functions then. I can get in that place of compassion. I can get in that place of this is where the real work happens. This is where the real living happens. Because we get the brain and the heart confused. The brain is a mechanism by which we process data. The brain processes data. The heart makes a choice. So if the heart says, I choose to live in peace, then the brain will search to find a way to make that happen. But if we let the brain make its own choices, the brain is going to say, well, that's not fair. Well, that's not right. That shouldn't happen. And then the heart shuts down because the heart knows the truth. Then the spirit shuts down and the body shuts down. So illness happens, all kinds of unhappiness happens because we give the brain too much power. The brain is merely the mechanism by which we can search data and find the direction that we're being guided into. Because when we're in our heart space, then angels and guides, divine power, divine intervention can happen in our lives. We can have signs, we can have miracles, we can have all those wonderful things happen for us. We can have that guidance that we long for. We're not alone. But when we shift into trying to manage someone else's peace, then we separate ourselves from that divine experience. So respecting what is good in the sight of all, respect that they got to do what they got to do and we got to let them. But I don't like it. But it's okay, I don't like it. I get to be at peace about that. I get to find that peace. Breathe about it, pray about it, invite their angels to help them, and know that they're right where they need to be, doing right what they need to do right now. And that maybe my purpose is to stand sacred ground and remind them of who they really are, love and light. Because that's what it's all about. I'd like to do a guided meditation, and I want to do it first before we do the communion. So Phil, could you dim the lights?